All right, let's do a couple quick hitters here. Instant replay now includes pass interference. You're already shaking your head.
Yeah. I mean, anything in slow motion is going to look like pass interference. And so I think, it's like any other rule change. We'll see what happens in the preseason. Usually they'll call ridiculous calls in the preseason. Fans and players will complain, and by the time we get to the regular season, they'll figure out the kinks. But I think, you look at situations like critical moments in a game where a ball goes up and then a guy on the other side of the field might be committing pass interference, but the ball's not going to him. It's on the other side. But you can challenge anybody on the field. I think that makes it tough, and when you start calling things that actually have no effect on what the play was. Now, obviously, if you get a blatant call like you had in New Orleans, you want to be able to rectify that. But I think that was also, it was so blatant that that's just a bad call. And so to change all of the rules for one instance, I think makes it a little bit tougher.
Well, I mean, the head of NFL refs, Al Riveron, who's going to be here a week from tomorrow, he went to he's going around to all the networks. He stopped by the NFL media group back in June. If you recall, a Thursday night football game between the Chargers and the Chiefs where they won with no time left on a 2-point conversion, if you remember, to Mike Williams was wide open, pretty much ran the same play that they used to score a touchdown.
Yep.
That was set up by a defensive pass interference call in the end zone that if they had reviewed it, they would not have been able to change that call, but they would have, under review, caught the offensive pass interference call that was not called, would have waved it off as offsetting penalties. Do you like that as a defender, that now OPI might be raised to a certain level that hasn't been raised before?
I'm very skeptical of that. Every time they change a rule, they make it sound like they pitch it to defensive guys like, no, we'll call it for you guys too. And it never happens.
You don't believe it.
So the helmet rule that we put in last time, right,
Yes.
is really, really strict. It's really hard on defenders to try to move and hit a moving target. But we understand the gist of the rule and what we're trying to accomplish. But it's pitched to us too, like, oh no, it can be on offensive guys too. And I might have seen it called twice, where, a running back comes through and just literally runs the guy over, with his head. That happens almost on every play, but it's rarely ever called unless it's really blatant. And so it sounds good, but we really don't get offensive pass interference called as it is. I don't know if you want coaches challenging, those type of plays, because oftentimes it's still going to be arbitrary. Are you looking at because the rule for those pick plays is it a yard down the field? If it's within a yard, then it's legal to be picked. But if it's not, and so I don't know. I think it slows down the game. I think players are smart enough to play the game we've been playing for a long time. I think the refs should just make good calls.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download the Rich Eisen Show app.